You've been wondering why it always turns this way, why tension finds a seat at every table, why silence feels so uncomfortable, that someone always lights a match. You see it on a global scale, borders drawn with borrowed fear. You see it closer to your name in crowded rooms and family tears. Small words grow into sharp divides, opinions turn into sides, and somehow conflict feels familiar, like people need it to feel alive. You start asking quiet questions that don't accuse, don't defend, just trying to understand why peace feels harder to maintain. Why do people like the conflict? Why does friction feel so loud? Why do arguments spread faster than understanding ever does? Is it fear of being unseen? Is it power? Is it pain? Or just the need to feel important in a world that feels untamed? You notice how calm makes people restless, how stillness gets mistaken for weak, how listening feels like losing when everyone just wants to speak. You watch love turn into leverage, care turn into control, and pride step into the driver's seat. My limp defeat takes the load home. Sometimes conflict feels like certainty, even when it hurts the most. It gives structure to confusion, gives the villain, gives a role. But you keep circling the question, not with anger, not with blame. There's curiosity and wonder about the patterns we replay. Why do people like the conflict? From the headlines to the home, why does being right feel safer than admitting you don't know? Is it easier to build walls than to sit and feel exposed? Is it comfort in the chaos that nobody ever chose? To see split communities on the words that lost their care. You see it break the families over mollies left unfair. And you wonder who we'd be if we paused before we spoke, if we asked instead of assumed, if we softened where we poke. Maybe conflict feels like movement when growth feels slow and unclear. Maybe anger feels like action when sitting with truth feels severe. But you're starting to believe there's another way to stand, one that doesn't need an enemy, just a willingness to understand. Why do people like the conflict, even when it leaves scars? Why do we protect the fire, then complain about the burns? Maybe peace asks for patience, Maybe change begins right here, out in winning or control, but in wondering together why we fight instead of